you know when Fox decide to get into the movie producing business?
Yeah, so yung Fox kasi, as most people know, is really a Hollywood studio, 20th Century Fox, right? But a lot of the offices outside of Hollywood, really, ang job namin is really to market, distribute, and make channels, and really entertain people based on what's being produced in Hollywood, right? And a few years ago, our big boss from LA, from Hollywood, flew a lot of the people from Asia. I think the GM of Taiwan, Philippines, India, Korea. We all went to Hollywood, spent about a week in the Fox lot, in the studio. We met a lot of the producers, directors, went to the shoots. So we went to the shoot of all of the Fox productions, not all, but a lot of it, like New Girl, Modern Family, those types of shows. Glee at the time was still in existence. So we went to the studio, we witnessed it. So ang general purpose was to see if we can do something similar outside of Hollywood, and then they bringing people from Asia and see if it can be done outside of Hollywood, right? And this is really more based on that. So we tried to figure out, hey, what's the best way to get this done? Because there's a lot of obstacles and restrictions because of budget, because of technology capability, but the talent and the creative juices are just as good, if not better, in Philippines. It's just that our market is smaller, diba? They have bigger budgets. Sometimes yung quality naman ng production is really a function of budget. It's not necessarily a function of how good you are, how creative you are. It's just how much money you have. You get all these special effects and the best cameras, the best whatever. And of course, yung talent fees ng Hollywood is something we can't touch, at least at this time. So we tried to figure it out. And this is what we came up with, that it would still be good to have all Filipino cast, all Filipino talent, Filipino everything, but trying to learn how they did it in Hollywood, right? So that's how this whole thing came about, and then we looked at a lot of scripts, a lot of pitches for about 2 years. So this is a 2 to 3 year tagal na to, and this is the script that we felt, hey, may chance to, we can do something with the script. So we went through with it. Appointed a director. And then this is a co-production with Signal, because they are our biggest partner, one of our biggest partners here in the Philippines. So and I think they're also been very aggressive in going into local production. So there was a good fit in that space. So I went to Signal and said, hey, would you want to do something together? It'd be nice for a Hollywood company to have a local partner, just so that there's a local flavor as well. So we've done it, and then we also appointed Unitel with Mr. Tony Gloria and Madonna, who we're coordinating with, to help us with the production naman, because they were the experts in equipment and production and all that stuff, right? I mean, for me, I'm more of a management marketing person, so I really had to learn all of this. Even the script itself. I spent a lot of time after that Hollywood stint to figure out, hey, how do we do a movie that would at least would not be embarrassing for the whole Fox group. Yeah. So yun yung kasi this is an actual Fox production. This is in the radar of 20th Century Fox. Nakalista lahat ng productions ng Fox kasi in Hollywood, right? So and it's part of it, right? And we had to go through all of the compliance, all of the security. Kasi,
kaya matagal.
Then we had interviews. Like Unitel had to be interviewed by our chief of security in LA to go through, hey, how do you protect the actors? How do you protect the crew? Because ano yan eh, if something happens,
Sa kanila babalik
oh,
mismo.
it's a PR nightmare for Fox. So they have I guess certain standards on how you cordon off the set. And it was especially because at the time when we were trying to do this, there was a lot of bad PR on in Mindanao at the time. So their perception was, hey, Philippines is dangerous. Maybe it's not worth doing something there. But we had to assure them that the shoots were really more in Manila, and the probability of all this danger isn't really what you say. And then the funny thing is the head of security actually lived in the Philippines for 6 months when she worked for the FBI. So they had a case for the FBI where they were trying to locate a person, and they thought that the person was here in the Philippines. So they actually were here.
So nakita niya.
She was fairly familiar with the locations and all that stuff. So that was good for us, right? So all this time for the last maybe 2.5 years, inaral ko talaga, and even the whole process, I went to the shoots, I attended the shoots, I worked with the writer in writing everything. I watched as many Filipino movies as I can to be familiar with the directors, the actors, the way things are done, and then I went to all of the offline, post-prod, everything that had to do with the movie. I was very, very involved because I wanted, as an employee of Fox, to know exactly how to get this thing done with some knowledge from Hollywood, right? And just putting it in. So I think if when the movie does come out, I mean, I'm very proud that it's going to be in Dolby Atmos. I think the special effects will be at least some of the best from a Filipino movie. I mean, I don't want to compare it to Hollywood because our budgets are 1% of Hollywood, so you can't compare. But I think if you compare it to Filipino movies, and even to a certain extent Asian movies, like Hong Kong, Korea movies, it'll be it'll be up there. Yeah. So at least I think we were able to accomplish that. And the one thing that I was very particular in what I learned in Hollywood was the sound. I think the Filipino movies, I think it's an afterthought sometimes. That you want the visuals, you want the acting, but the sound gets overlooked. So this one we really made sure that the scoring, we asked Teresa Barroso to do the scoring, and then si Mike Idiomo, so the best in the industry to do it, and then we put it in Dolby Atmos. So everything about it. At least on as much as we can do technology-wise, we wanted it to be as good of a Filipino movie as possible,
the best of them,
right? Again, step by step, we tried to, or at least I tried to be involved, so that if I'm gonna be named the next executive producer, might as well be the guy who from even like the OBB, the special effects. Ninonotes ko lahat, and I'm very involved with Direct Mark and Optima, who's doing the special effects for us, and Sir Mike, who did the sound effects. So yun yung I mean that's really why we're doing it. The mandate in a way for us is we want to go beyond just marketing, just distributing, just making channels. We want to be able to own Philippine IP. Intellectual property already. Because right now, we license everything, right? Because Hollywood makes it, and then now, and even in Asia, it's really mainly Hong Kong, Korea who does global, worldwide productions. And then everybody else does a lot for local. So for me, I want to be able to take some of that learnings from our Hollywood pedigree, want to call it, and bring it to Philippines, the Philippine market, and have intellectual property, and then raise the standards, hopefully, moving forward.
So what's the movie Maledicto all about? Who's
Yeah, so
working on it?
yeah, so maledicto is maledicto means to speak ill of, to talk badly, like male, the maleficent, all that stuff, right? It's about I mean, to lack of a better word, exorcism. So we did a lot of research on exorcism. So we spoke to a few priests who are considered exorcists in the Philippines. We did research on what it takes to be an exorcist. What do exorcists do? How do you take spirits out of people who are possessed? Those types of things, and what happens during a possession. So those types of things you'll see in the movie. So there's actually I don't want to be have a spoiler, but the climax is an exorcism in the end of the movie. That's like our money shot or our money scene is an actual exorcism, and it's about that. It's about how people get possessed, and so it's a story. It's still a story about a priest and a nun who eventually becomes at the end of the movie they become a team to determined to drive exorcism out of people. But it started as this priest who was a doctor, and then his sister dies because of a possession, and part of it is because since he was a psychologist, a doctor, he didn't believe it was a possession. It was really more schizophrenia or drug or whatever it is that he was, and because she eventually kills herself and dies because of it, his whole belief structure gets shattered, and he sees if this exorcism, if there's something to this. So that's what that's where the whole story is anchored in this priest, Father Javi.
So that's Tom Rodriguez.
Yeah, played by Tom Rodriguez.
The priest.
The priest.
Okay.
So Tom is a priest in this movie, and then the possession will center around a student played by Miles Ocampo. Her name is Agnes in the movie, whose teacher is a nun, Sister Barbara, who's played by Jasmine Curtis Smith. So those are the three main protagonists in this whole thing. So Tom is really more, hey, I need to figure out how to help people because my sister died because of a possession. Just to make sure to separate science, because he's more of a science versus religion type of thing. So he he believes more in science, but he started to believe in possession and exorcism when the sister dies. So he's trying to balance that now. And then Sister Barbara naman is more she has a third eye, so she's able to see things. And yeah, her student who gets possessed, and she goes to the Catholic Church, and her and Tom are the ones that eventually are assigned to the case of Agnes.
Nag-audition sila lahat.
There was a cattle call of some sort, but I think kasi I don't think there was an audition for this, but there was a what do you call that, a
Shortlist.
like where they talk through the script, a script reading for everyone. I mean, I'll be honest with you, because we're not a big studio here in the Philippines, at least not Channel 2 or Channel 7, we don't have inside track on talents, right? So our choices aren't really big. But we're very happy that Jasmine agreed to do it, and Tom agreed to do it, and Miles agreed to do it, and they're from both Channel 2 and Channel 7, right? It's a mixture, and even the ensemble, the supporting cast, I'm very happy with. So So Nolly Buencamino and Charmaine are part of it. Lisa Lorena is part of it. She's actually one of the
Galing ng
yeah.
support cast.
Eric Kison plays a bishop, the boss of Tom in this thing. So it's a good ensemble. Ina de Belen is the sister of Tom, who kills herself. So I'm happy that we were able to get a very talented cast to get this done, and I'm with Direct Mark Maybe. I think we were able to achieve a lot of the things that we wanted to.
Malaki ang chance na ma-pick up siya ng Fox, ng mother company, and to be shown there.
Yeah, no, I think ang obstacle namin, ang constraint would be it's in Tagalog. It's full Filipino, right? So it won't it probably won't travel globally. Although horror films does travel regardless of language, right? So it will be subtitled English, and it will be distributed internationally as well. The distributor, by the way, will be ABS-CBN. So Star will distribute this for us. They watched the movie. They were very happy with it. They asked, we'd like to distribute this.
Tapos na.
Yung
okay na yung movie? Na-shoot na lahat?
It's finished.
It's finished.
It's finished.
Okay.
Yeah, we're na. I mean it's like 99% finished. There's a few more like in some credits that needs to be changed in the OBB, CBB, I mean those types of things na lang ang iiba yun. But I think the color grading, the special effects, the sound, the scoring, everything's in. In fact, tomorrow I think we'll be viewing the final. Final. So yeah, so it's finished. We're supposed to submit it to ABS-CBN. I think next week so that they can start the distribution process. The posters will be out by end of the month. So we're full on. We have a website that's doing very well now. We have a Facebook page, IG. Lahat yan, I think we've thought through the whole process. We had a separate photo shoot just for the poster. And we have a lot of behind-the-scenes material. So our crew was in every single shoot. So we'll have a behind-the-scenes on our channel. We produced maybe mga 50-55 different promos and vlogs. So si Jasmine has her own, Tom has her own, Ina has her own. The sound will have its own. The special effects will have its own. I mean, it's excited because it's our first, right? But we also wanted to do it so that it can be a template for us. If it succeeds, hey, this is what we did. Of course, the script and the story is the most important, but we still need all of the other things to fall into place, including the marketing, to be able to get it done right.
We really have to go all out pagdating dyan, especially these days.
Yeah, and the thing that I've noticed now is I don't think there's any time in the history of Philippine film na ganito karami yung pinoproduce na movies. So I think part of it is because it's not that expensive anymore to shoot in HD, and it doesn't take that much to be able to do. If you have a story and you could put it together, then so right now, I mean, it's seemingly 2 to 3 movies per week. Ang Filipino movies, not ang lumalabas. So so now you have to cut through the clutter, right? Because
sobrang dami.
Yeah, if 2 to 3 movies and there's 52 weeks, so there's at least 150 movies or 120, 130 movies per year now that being produced. I don't know if we've ever had that many movies being produced in 1 year, right? And that's what and when I was talking to the cinema, they said, ang daming Pinoy movies na. Before kasi they limited it to 2 in 1 week. Ngayon they raised it to 3 na kasi it's too many movies na now. So now there's some weeks that it's gonna be 3 Filipino movies being released. So whatever we do, we have to make it so that there's a differentiator. Outside of the quality of the movie, because people don't know naman until they watch it, right? If it's really a good movie or not. But yeah, and one of the differentiators, we are a Hollywood studio, and this is probably the first time a Hollywood studio is making a purely Filipino movie. Filipino film.
What are your expectations or outlook? Kasi diba, there have been a lot of talk about less and less people going to the cinemas, preferring to just
Yeah.
watch online.
Conservative naman yung ano, but I disagree that less and less people are watching. I just think that there's just so many more movies that there's more movies that are not gonna be watched. You know what I mean? So like if you say, let's say, previously there were 80 Filipino movies or 50 Filipino movies a year, right? So it's only just Viva, Regal, Star, you know, I mean, 5 or 6 studios do it. And then they made 50 or 60, right? And the Filipino audience really will only have money for 10 or 15 magiging hit, right? If you look through last year, there's still about 10 hits. You know, Excess Baggage, House of Us, yung mga ganun. There's still, ano, Aurora, you know, and then plus the MMFF, you know, all that stuff, right? You can count 10 to 15 that have been hits. But if there's now 100, 150 movies, there's now 90 movies that
Na hindi pa
didn't make
panoodin.
money instead of only 40. Diba? That's my view. Because ngayon cinema, people are still willing to pay if it's a good story. If it, for me, my view is it's entertainment, right? They want to be entertained. They want to get themselves out of reality and just be entertained. And they're paying 250, right? It's a lot of money for most people. And it's not just 250 because they have popcorn, kadate mo, mabayaran mo rin.
Yeah.
Diba? So,
Trans-
The commute.
yeah, the commute, all that stuff. Yeah, if you go on a date, at least 1,000 pesos down ka, diba? To do a date. So you have to pick and choose, right? And I think because of the surround sound, the Dolby, ang ganda ng cinemas ngayon, they can be entertained, but they have to pick and choose now, right? And I just feel like because of the sheer number of movies, mas maraming magiging hindi blockbusters. Because only 10 to 15 local movies, because there's another 10 to 15 foreign movies that will be blockbusters, right? So there's only room for maybe 30 to 50 blockbusters for the year. But if there's twice as many movies now, pareho pa rin yung blockbusters. So mas maraming hindi blockbusters, right? And I think that's the challenge for me. It's not, and I don't know the actual stats. But you know, I'm willing to say that if you talk to the cinema operators, I think the revenue will be similar. Kasi if you think about it, lahat ng pinaka highest blockbusters, it's in the last 3 years, eh. Diba? So yung key, a lot of it is from Vice Ganda. But if you think about the number one hits, and I looked at the box office, the top 10 box office are all in the last 3 to 4 years.
Talaga.
Yeah, it's not from, and I've had to study this because I had to justify doing a project like this, right? So I think people are willing, and not only that, the biggest blockbusters in movies, in general, in Hollywood, are also in the last 3 to 4 years, right? I mean, if you think of Avengers and Spider-Man and you know all these things. Those are all billion-dollar, you know, globally, and here, it's in the last 3 to 4 years. It's not from 10 years ago or 15 years ago. It's because you know, people are still willing to pay, right? And a lot of it is because they can't get the big screen at home. They can't get the surround sound, Dolby Atmos, HD. You know, it's different when it's like this or like this. Diba? So I think may value sa kanila yun. It's just that there's only a certain number of movies that they'll watch, right? And yeah. So it's a mathematical thing for me.
Are you bringing in talents from Hollywood para sa effects? Or lahat local?
Lahat local to. I think eventually that can be the next step. In fact, I'm hoping, you know, and then this might be off the record now because when I was talking to Tita Malu with